All right. Well, we'll go ahead and we'll dive right into it here today. We'll do a run through of some of the feature functionality of the content filter here. We'll start with the summary screen here today with some basic information here. So on the summary screen here, you'll see that you've got some options for timeframes here. It's going to default to the past 24 hours. You can pull that all the way out to the past month. There's a refresh option as well too if you want to refresh the data there, get some new data points in. Um, Very straightforward here at the top with your top sites and your top block sites. With any of these, you can click into it directly. You can go to the URL. You can do an access lookup, which would give you a breakdown of who's going to that site and how many visits they had there. So it gives you a nice breakdown that way to see more activity as a whole here and who's actually going to the specific sites in question on those top sites there. And then you can also go ahead and view the full URL as well too. If you need to, for example, you find a site that perhaps you don't want to have as one of your top URLs, you say this is something we actually need to have be blocked here. We need to take a look at this a little bit further there. Way to go ahead and grab that full URL as well too. On the right-hand side here, you'll see the top block sites here. Same idea here, same feature functionality as well to get an idea of, okay, who's been trying to go, in this case here to 4chan. So probably not a website that's appropriate for for kids there. Definitely don't want your students on something like that. So give you a good idea of what's going on that way as well too. Towards the bottom here, you'll see some more account activity as well as device activity statistics here. So this account activity here is going to give an idea of when users are active within the Chrome browser when they're doing things here. So we'll get this time graph here. It gives you an idea of when people are more active versus not here. So it gives a nice idea of what's going on that way there. And then over to the right of that, we have the accounts and devices last seen. So this is giving an idea of when accounts have been logged into, when someone's actively within the Chrome browser there on the account side. That's something that'll be seen. So if the accounts have been seen in the last 24 hours, it'll have this nice green graph here. If it's been within a week, it'll be yellow, and if it's been greater than a week, it'll be this gray color here. And that would also apply then to devices because it's a extension-based content filter here. We'll also hook into the especially with Chromebooks there, we'll have a lot of we'll have some device level information as well too that can be pulled through there too. So the focus area is going to be on that Chrome browser side of things there. So of course Chromebooks, the content filter does a great job of supporting there. Now, the core to any content filter, and in the case of this content filter, the Managed Methods one is going to be the policy section here. So very first thing here is we'll have an allow list, and that's going to be pretty standard there. And then how this is going to be structured is over on the right-hand side, you'll see an organizational unit. So then you can set an allow list based on your OU structure there. So if there are certain student OUs that need to have specific sites allowed, but other OUs that you need to have more restricted, you can certainly set things up that way as well too. The allow list will go ahead and override any of those blocks that you have set in place there. So great way if you need to go ahead and allow, say, your high school students to access a few more websites than say your middle school students. Great way to go ahead and get things set up there. And that can be done in a couple of different ways as well too. So first off, you can just do it very simply just by the actual site itself here. You can even categorize sites if you so choose. We've got a lot of different categories available there as well too. You can even import sites in from a global list or a file as well too if you happen to have one of those on hand and have a number of sites that you know, hey, these are ones that we want to make sure are approved right off the bat there. We also do have some categories. These are ones that we've gone ahead and pre-populated. Obviously, a lot of these ones here that you're seeing would be ones that you perhaps rather block than allow here, but there's certainly some different options in here this way as well too. And if you do click into any of these as well too, you're able to go through and preview some of the various sites there that are available that way too. And then there is also search terms. So if you have specific keywords or regex, the platform can also go ahead and allow through certain search terms if you have it blocked for different OUs as well there too. So if it might be all right for certain, perhaps your staff or other users to search for certain things, but not on your student end there. So some different ways to get that configured on that allow list side of things. Of course, more importantly is the block list and blocking certain things here. So again, that can be set up based on the OU structure. And as you can see here, we've got slightly different block lists here for the domain as a whole versus for this specific student OU here. And then with any of these, you do have the ability to configure overall notifications here. And those notifications, you can set those up to go out to you immediately. You can choose if they're going to be active or not. Multiple email addresses can be added in here as well too for the folks that need to be receiving those. And then this is again going to be on that OU level, so you can have different notifications go out to different folks based on that OU structure.
Charles, on that note, so for example, if I'm a prince, you know, if a situation comes in and it's involving a student that's say over here in, you know, ABC middle school, I can have that principal or the social worker or whomever, the, you know, student services be notified just in that school for that particular situation.
Yep, exactly. So the notifications here will go just to that to this folks for that specific OU. So in this instance here, in this test instance, we only have this one student OU, but of course most districts are going to have multiple different student OUs. So you can have those routed to the correct people as needed. You can also see then how those are going to be configured as well too. So you can choose for a specific alert period here. So in this case, we've got 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. here. You could also choose to not have immediate notifications go out, and then you have a choice to have a specific alert period and then a frequency of, okay, I want to get notifications every hour, or 2 hours, 6 hours, or 12 hours there. Or you can have all of the notifications come in at one time as well too. So I want all the notifications sent to me at the end of the day for this particular issue here. And this one here is for the block list as a whole, but you can also set notifications on specific sites as well too if you want. So if there's a specific site in particular that's cause for concern, or you want to keep an extra careful eye on, very easy to go ahead and set that up as well too. There's also an option to mute notifications. So if there are certain websites you say, hey, these are blocked, but we're not so worried about the notification end of things there, you can also choose to go ahead and mute those notifications as well. And then blockwise here, pretty straightforward as well too. You've got where you can go ahead and add those sites. Again, you can come in and add from a global list or a file as well too. Importantly, we also do have categories. This is where these categories are going to make a little bit more sense here, where we have these pre-populated and ready to go as well. So here's an example of one of our proxy ones here. As you can see, it's a lot of different websites here. We're just using pretty industry standard lists here, but those are ready to go and ready to go ahead and start blocking things there. You'll see we also have pretty standard ones like drugs, adult, but there's a lot of other categories out here as well too that can certainly be set up. So for example, something like chat might be something you're concerned about. So you could set a particular category policy up for that as well too with this block list here. And then lastly, there are also search terms. So if there are specific search terms you don't want your students going to, or whoever, or from a domain level as a whole too, that can be done as well. The content filter will be looking at those inputs specifically when someone's searching something. So if somebody does go to Google or another search engine and it decides to input something there, the platform will go ahead and read that. And then if it's something that's on that block list, it can go ahead and block that directly there as well too. So definitely very flexible that way too with the keywords or the regex patterns as well. And this is a process too where we're happy to assist with in configuration there and getting that rolling. Next is going to be the risks themselves here. And the risks are going to be two primary ones with our self-harm machine learning model and our toxicity machine learning model. So these are going to be very similar to the ones if you are a customer and are a user of Cloud Monitor. They're going to be very similar here. For those of folks who aren't familiar with it, these are machine learning models. So they're designed to look more at the sentiment and context of things. And here we're evaluating all the different inputs. So if somebody sends a message via Google Chat, that's something that the platform would be looking at. If somebody goes to the web version of Discord and is sending messages, that's something that will be looked at. If they're using any kind of form to input something, that would be something the platform will be evaluating as well too. And you're not just locked into our toxicity, which is more of our behavioral risk scan, as well as our self-harm one. We can also create additional risk scans as well too, based on things like keywords or regex patterns as well. So really, the sky's the limit there for those different kinds of things. If there's specific words and phrases you want to keep a close eye on, very easy to go ahead and do so. The platform will keep a close eye on that for you. And then again, you'll have noticed here too, if I click into self-harm, or if I click into toxicity here, you'll see this again, this little magnifying icon here, and then you'll be able to again set those notifications up as well too, and route those to the correct people to help handle those specific situations there. And again, that's broken down at that OU level, so you can have different risk scans on for different people. Perhaps on your staff you don't have maybe some of the self-harm ones or the toxicity ones, but there's other risk scans you've got turned on there. Of course, you can do an overall notification configuration too there for that specific OU if you want as well. So very flexible with those notifications, very flexible on choosing how those notifications go out as well too that way. But those risks are great on evaluating things and picking up those different concerning inputs there. Next, below risks, we have a YouTube section here, and I'll show you how this looks in practice as well too. We actually do have the content filter deployed on ourselves here, so I can show you what this will look like. We've got a couple things that are blocked here, but here with the keywords, these will be the specific video tags that are placed into YouTube videos. So that's something that can be allowed or blocked as well too, just based on those specific tags there. And again, notifications can be set up for that as well. You can also allow through certain tags as well. Also an ability to block entire channels if necessary as well too. or allow certain channels. And same idea here with the notifications. Videos here as well too. You can go ahead and certainly block or allow certain videos too. And then there is also an analyze video, and I actually have a URL on hand here. I can go ahead and paste into here. So if I go ahead and click on this analyze video here, then I'm quickly able to see what's going on here. So you can see this is the Nuggets at Rockets full game highlights here. I could go ahead and block or allow that specific video title. I can also allow or block that specific channel name, and I could also block or allow any of these specific keywords in here as well too. And what that looks like in practice is if I go ahead and actually try to go to this video, so we actually have the NBA blocked on our content filter. So if I go ahead and try to watch that, you notice that now it's already gone ahead and blocked that for me. I don't have an ability to watch that video. And that doesn't just extend to YouTube itself. If I go ahead and pull over this document here I have pulled up, if I go ahead and try to watch this in the browser itself here, it'll go ahead and block that as well too, or sorry, in the document itself, it'll go ahead and block that as well too. Definitely a feature that does a really good job of making sure that YouTube's locked down, especially if you decided certain channels are not things that your students should be allowed to view there, or your staff as well too.
So, Charles, not only is it blocking YouTube traffic directly from the browser, it's blocking embedded YouTube links that might be in a Google Doc or a Google slide or something of that nature.
Yeah, forms as well too. This is another one where we sometimes see people go ahead and try to watch videos. In this case, it's not going to actually let me do that. But if I did try to go ahead and watch this, or if I went to a specific URL here and tried to watch it, you notice it just blocked it right away, and I don't have an ability to watch that. And that's a common thing that students will do. Maybe even staff, if they're more clever, to try to get around things to watch videos here. So it doesn't just extend to YouTube itself and YouTube.com, but it also extends to docs as well as forms too there, and those other aspects of YouTube. And how that looks too on YouTube itself, if you go ahead and hover over anything, it'll go ahead and block it immediately. So it removes the view here from this entirely, not able to see that video anymore as well too. So the YouTube side definitely does a great job of blocking things there, getting things set up that way. And then lastly, settings, of course, very important. There's also very standard things here, like blocking the sidebar for the up next videos, blocking the live chat aspect if a video is one of those live videos, as well as blocking comments on videos too. Pretty standard things there, but great to have in place. So really great ways to lock down the YouTube side of things too, if necessary there. And lastly, that gets us to settings, and this is where you can change the block page. You saw the block page we have there, but you can certainly set that redirect to go somewhere else as well too if you go to a blocked website there. So that's going to be the policy section. That's really the core of the content filter, of course. But extending onto that, then we also have a violations section, which is going to be the record keeper of the violations that have occurred here. So it'll give an idea of total activity, as well as then you can go through and look for just specific violations in that case as well too. It'll be broken down here. Here we can see we're looking at a month time range. That's going to be the standard time range for the platform here. And you can then go ahead and filter down by your specific OUs to focus in on those specific OUs. If there's a specific input in question, or a URL, any of those sorts of things, you can certainly search for that as well too. And then you can also choose what the violation was. So was it a block list? Was it any? Was it YouTube? Was it a specific risk there? And then we'll have some of those different areas that are broken down. So you can look at the URL ones here, and then you can also go to the specific user's account in question to take a look at that information more closely on just that one specific person if you need to. There's also then the inputs themselves. So we'll go ahead and pull that through as well too. So you can see here we've got some different Google searches, some chats. We've got someone here going to DuckDuckGo that was doing some different inputs here as well. So these will go ahead and capture that for you more directly there, give you an option to go ahead and take a look at that. And then this information can be exported out as a CSV or a PDF, or you can even set scheduled reports. And the scheduled reports will be based on any of the different aspects that you've set up here, search-wise or filter-wise. So you can have those then be scheduled to be sent out to folks. That can be sent out there. Very much similar to how you saw those notifications. So they can go out at a specific time there. You can also choose if you want to have different ones for different days as well too there. And same idea there to have those go to the specific people that need that information that way.
So, Charles, I think it's maybe a good quick segue because you're on some of these things. A couple of questions are already starting to pop in. Just quick reminder, everybody out there, by the way, before I jump to some of these questions, we got a poll open. Share with us. So, so far over almost 60% of you have shared, but we're just curious what you use today out there for your content filtering. Charles, I think in the same topic, some questions that have come in about, can policies be set by group membership?
Not currently. It'll just be set by the OU structure at the present time.
Okay.
So there,
But
we
there's a
not
feature request. uh,
yes.
so,
Feature requests are
so
definitely important too.
the next one is the block notification customizable. I presume what the notification is that goes to the individuals.
Yeah, so if they do run across something that's blocked there, yeah, you can customize the URL that it'll redirect them to if something has been blocked there. So that can be customized to a degree.
Okay. And then another one here on the policy section. Can you specify times? Can you specify specific times that sites and or videos are blocked? For example, during school days, after school, etc.
Not currently. Right now, it'll just be kind of a block. Right, it'll be a block or an allow. There's not going to be kind of a time frame block or allow currently.
Okay. And another one just jumped in. Can you open up certain sites for I think this is along the same line. So they're asking, can we open up certain sites to be available at specific times and days, aka the esports lab, etc. So I think that goes along with just the previous answer. At the moment, it's an all or nothing. We don't allow for a moving window yet. I know that that's something that's been talked about and in the works. Another question is being asked. Yes, it would be nice if we could set up rules that say block YouTube during school hours, Monday through Friday between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m., and allow it at all other times. So I think that goes along that same line. Um, all right. Well, we'll continue on, Charles, and I know there will be more questions coming in, and we'll get to those shortly.
Absolutely. So as you saw there, this is what the violations section is going to do. It's really the spot where you can review the violations that have occurred more as a whole. Of course, you can though look at that information on more of an account level as well too. So if there's a certain account in question that you need to do more digging into, more investigation on, certainly very capable of doing that as well too. You'll see very similar kind of search functionality here as well too. You'll see the last heard from here, as well as the start and end date. So you can certainly search things for that way. And then you can also certainly go ahead and take a look at things on the individual user as well too. So there's an option here to go to account details either from here or from here. And if I click on those account details, then I get more of a breakdown here as a whole. So you're able to then see some basic information here about the user in question there, OU they belong to, when they were last heard from, and then also then their last known location here as well too. So here we can just see their normal URLs. So they've certainly been to some URLs that are not on the block list or the or just being fine for them to visit. But you can certainly then use the filter here to go ahead and focus in on specific violations or specific inputs here that might be an issue. And then again, you can pull reports on just this now individual user as well too. So if there's a specific user that you need to keep an extra close eye on, or you need more constant reports on that user, you can set up scheduled reports. You can also then set up, you can just pull down again those PDF or those CSV reports as well too. It will also pull through some device level information here. So if it's going to be a Chromebook, it'll be a Chromebook. It'll have the device ID here listed. You'll also then be able to see the date and timestamp, IP address, and then also the location based on the geolocation by IP address lookup there. And then devices that have been reported as lost or stolen can also be locked right from here, and I'll show that feature in just a moment here. But this is going to give you some idea of some information at the device level as well to connect it in, especially for those users using Chromebook. But that does extend to other Windows devices as well too. In that case, it'll just assign a random ID there. So this will be the device section here, and this is where you'll have some basic information on connected devices, what's your most used version of Chrome. You can go through to, there'll be a difference between managed and unmanaged devices there, so easy to filter through that way and say, okay, I really just want to look at my managed devices here to start off with and dig into things that way, or maybe I want to look at those unmanaged ones as well too, and things more as a whole here. You can also, again, then specify by organizational unit. You can also specify if something's been reported as lost or stolen here. So you can do not reported, or reported with activity here as well too. And then email addresses. So again, if there's a specific person you're looking for their devices, you can do that as well. So then you'll see the various device IDs listed down here. And then devices that have had more than one person log into them will also be displayed with this more than one account here. Instead of just showing a specific logged in account, you can then click into that device directly to take a look at it. Below that, you'll see then we have some devices that have been reported lost or stolen here, so we can see when those were reported as lost or stolen. And what that feature does is that's going to go ahead and lock the Chrome browser down. So for a Chromebook, that really doesn't allow somebody to go ahead and take a look at really go ahead and do anything with that device then as a result with it being locked down. Now there can be some differences with power washing. If your devices do have it set where it'll automatically re-enroll the device after it's been power washed, you shouldn't run into issues with that. If your devices aren't configured in that way, then certainly the power washing would be a way to go ahead and get around something like that. But this is a way you can go ahead and lock those devices down if something has been reported as lost or stolen, and it will lock that Chrome browser down, and it'll display a specific message when they open the Chrome browser that, hey, this device has been reported as lost or stolen, and here's the message there. Clicking into an individual device as well too, you can go to the device details. It'll then give you a list of the various users that logged in, when they logged in, and then also IP addresses is here as well as too. So if you do have users that decided to share a device for some reason, or are logging into multiple users are logging into the same device, you'd see that recorded here as well too. And this is again where you can come in here, and if the device has been lost or stolen, can mark it as such, and it'll be good to go. It'll go ahead and put that message into effect, and then lock down that Chrome browser there again as well. So that'll be what we're looking at on the device side. Again, this filter is designed to be easy to navigate, lightweight, easy to get through, easy to find the information you're looking for there. We also do then have this schedule report section. So for reports that have been set up already for either on the violations section or on the account section, this is where those reports can be modified or even removed if needed at any point there. And then this will also support multiple domains as well too. So if you have a multi-domain environment, there's ways to go ahead and actually change between those two environments as well too there. And then lastly, we do have an admin section that'll have some information on console activity there, as well as a settings section where you can change that device lost or stolen message. You can set your time zone, and then you can also choose how those notifications look for those messages that are coming out with the warning message, with the notifications there for any of the risks or blocks or any of that thing, or YouTube as well too.
Hey, Charles, we got another question popped up in
Absolutely.
here. Penalty box. Is that something that we offer today?
So how a penalty box right now would be accomplished in the platform would be a specific OU. So you just need to set up a specific OU, and then any of those specific policies you wanted around a potential penalty box could be set on that just specific OU there, and then you could place the user into that specific OU in question there, and that's how currently we would serve a penalty box.
Thank you. Continue.
Absolutely. So those will be the core feature functionality of the content filter there. We also then do have this light bulb icon that takes you to the user guide. It's quite familiar for those folks who are cloud monitor users there. Takes you to that user guide there. Great option as well too. And of course, just the ability to log out here. So that will be the content filter. It's designed to be lightweight, easy to use, and very, very simple interface there. And David, I believe you're muted
Guess
there.
I got. Yeah, I need to unmute. I think a lot of people would like me to stay muted, but with that said, I want to, obviously some questions have been coming in, but I want to go ahead and throw it out there for additional questions if folks want to, ask that, and then we of course put another poll question up just out of curiosity, and that kind of goes hand in hand with the previous question. The previous question, we were just asking what vendors you work with, just out of curiosity. Not too many surprises in that mix, but a lot of folks still today will tell us, hey, we're heavily relying upon using the network perimeter and not as much from the outside. We just always are curious about what people are thinking of from an architecture perspective. And then, I'll throw it out there in the chat as well. For those of you that maybe are not familiar with managed methods, be sure to, think about your Google workspace and your Microsoft 365 environments as well. We've obviously been providing safety and monitoring and cybersecurity solutions inside the workspace, inside the 365, in your mailbox, in your drive files, OneDrive, SharePoint, etc. But now we're extending that technology and capabilities to the browser layer. I may have to put back up on the screen, or Charles, you can certainly do it. Folks, if you're interested, somebody's asking the question, how do I try this out or take a look at it or look at the entire Managed Methods suite? Simply go to managedmethods.com, or you can click on the links that were in the invite for this session, and we offer up a free cybersecurity and safety audit of your environments. You can try out the Cloud Monitor product. You can try out the Content Filter product. You can try them both out, and we'll be happy to work with you on that. Let's see here. Questions coming in. Okay. All right. Here we go. The poll speaks to one more questions I had. Let's see here. The Chrome, this is Chrome-based now. Is there a plan to future? So the question is, this is a Chrome-based product now. Is there any plan to future tie this into DNS filtering that may not use Chrome? Good question, sir. At the moment, no, not immediate plans. Now, certainly, that's things that we are looking at for the future. This is a fairly new product for us. We just launched it here in the second half of the year, really within the past just like 90 days or so. So that is a question that has been raised. We've thought about it. We're exploring potential options, but not currently. At the current moment, we support fully supported of the Google Chrome browser, and we now also offer support for the Microsoft Edge browser as well, which of course is built in the Chromium type of platform. Another question. Can you block, Charles? This would be more for you. Can you block a specific URL instead of the full domain?
Yeah, so if you went to the block list here, you could go ahead and throw in a kind of a longer URL. So for example, if I grab a video here, we'll grab this ESPN video here. So if you went ahead and throw that in there, and I take off the HTTPS there, and go ahead and add the site there. Yeah, you can do the entire site as well too. It doesn't have to just be the entire domain. So, and then you could categorize it if you wanted to as well. But that would just be for that one specific site here in this case. Very specific there. So, yeah, it'll support all the way out to the specific site as well too, not just the entire domain there.
Okay, thank you, Charles. Some additional questions coming in here. Of course, these next two questions that both go hand in hand, so I can knock them both out. Any plans to do a classroom management product, aka so teachers can see the student screens? So I'll answer this in two part. Currently, no, we do not offer that capability. We're not doing a classroom management solution. We have partners that we can certainly recommend that do that as well. But we ManagedMethods currently do not offer a classroom management solution to the environment. That's a separate product, and we don't have that currently today. Are we planning to do that at the moment? No, I can't speak to any product roadmaps down the road just yet. It's something that we know is out there. It's been brought up a couple times, but similar to my answer for that DNS question, who knows? We may, but at the moment, no. We're trying to focus strictly more so on what we already do and do very well, which is cybersecurity, cyber safety, data protection. And this is a natural extension of what we already do today inside of Workspace and 365. And so now this gives us a nice position. And one of the customers, thank you, has just pointed that out to me in the chat here. We're the only purpose-built K2L vendor out there today that can take you from the browser to the drive file and all the way in between with cybersecurity, threat protection, data loss prevention, as well as now student safety at the browser layer. So we're pretty excited about these capabilities, and we may not be for everyone, but we also have a very robust product offering that we highly encourage everyone to look at. And unfortunately, it's obviously a very, very much needed technology out there today, as seen by the incidents that have come out with Clark County, Nevada, Jeffco, Colorado, and other schools out there where there's a new approach that hackers are taking, and they're really going after student accounts and trying to then directly come into your cloud app, email, and file sharing environments and exploit what they can find in those aspects. Somebody's asking the cost. Great question. The product is offered at a per user price point, and it's per user. We don't differentiate whether it's a student user or a staff user, because we have had some of our customers already be looking at this for students and staff. And it's the price right now is $3 per user. So it's a $3 per user account. And we have an introductory special for our existing customers as well as new customers that adopt the platform between now and the end of the year. and that has some significant advantages to it. But $3 is the published list price per user for the platform. So we'd love to have you give us that feedback and come out and take a look at it. And if you want to compare contrast your existing solutions, or if you'd like to look at an additional or complementary solution side by side, we're happy to work with you on that. Any other questions? Let's see. I think I've answered most of them. Let me double check here. Let's see. I answered that one. Okay. Charles, anything else you want to add?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay.
We
All right.
wanted to keep it focused here today. As David mentioned as well too, we do have a second product that is also looking at the Google Workspace environment, and that's going to be following users around more at the account level. So capturing a lot of those other areas like docs, sheets, slides, what users do in an email, things like that. So certainly a very great product over there as well too, and especially with the login activity and where users are logging in from can be especially helpful because unfortunately, yeah, we've seen definitely an increase in compromised accounts, and bad actors really do love to use student accounts, not just staff accounts. We've seen anything from those awful data breaches in Clark County, then in Jefferson County, but we've also seen situations where those accounts are then used to perpetrate phishing attacks. One of the districts I was working with not too long ago ran into a situation where that was the case. And they had some emails initially in English there, and then for whatever reason, the bad actors switched over to German and started emailing people in Germany, and basically fake dating emails there. Those kind of scammy ones that a lot of people do unfortunately get in their inboxes there. So whether it's a data breach or something that's more of a phishing attack, we do see those student accounts just as valuable. So having robust security in Google and in Microsoft too is very important there, of course.